Hello, I see patterns from nature, do you? Let's talk about all the patterns all through our lives. I want to talk to you about patterns from nature, and then I'll also read you a patterns poem that I wrote back in 2007. So come on in. The waters of truth are fine. Come on, jump in, jump in. All my life, I've seen patterns. I've been blessed by, I can see faces in the shadows of, say, curtains and clouds. And I think most people can see them. I think we, the sovereign members of mankind, are actually designed to detect patterns. So it's been fun seeing all these different patterns. And I bet you have noticed that you can detect them and contemplate them as well. So hi, I'm Hiking Druid. I'm Andrew, and let's talk about some of these things. Especially, we'll bring them up to what's been happening the last couple years, and also I'll share with you guys a poem that I wrote called "The Patterns." The patterns I wrote in November of 2007. These are very ancient. Um, if you study some of the Celts, the ancient Celts, they were very interested in patterns. And somewhere around here, I got MC Escher. I've been a big fan of his since my early 20s. He did a lot of art about patterns and mathematical, like geometry patterns. So everybody probably recognizes, a lot of people will recognize, especially if you've watched The Labyrinth, a lot of the movie The Labyrinth with David Bowie had MC Escher art all through it. The Goblin King's castle, the baby going up and down the stairs. Ring a bell? Yeah. Go check out MC Escher, Escher. Here's a great one. He liked to play with shadows. He played with shadows. One person or creature becomes the shadow of the other one. Birds, fish, people shaking hands, all kinds of different patterns. M.C. Escher. And no, he didn't have raves, although he got rave reviews in the arts community. So, what patterns do you notice? What kinds? Okay, and I also noticed this word, pattern and patent. Here's a pattern about patents. Who patents bioengineered virus strains, test kits to detect those very same strains, and DNA manipulating shots presented as supposed protections? The same few people is the answer. And one of the main ones was ferret-faced Fauci, who was a faux doctor. Who's the largest investor in those China flu shots. The large also is the largest owner of farmland in the USA and the biggest investor in lab-grown baby milk. Now remember, this is the same guy, and we just is the biggest investor in all three of those previous things. Here's a pattern, and we get presented with the scamdemic, food shortages, formula shortage, fear porn. Yes, this one is Bill Microsoft Gates. See the patterns? It's incredible when you start seeing all these things. And yes, he and his wife are some of the main money funnelers for the population decrease agenda of the cabal. There is a great sickness, and it's in the hearts of a few sick, evil, and twisted men and women. There are patterns. You can see deception. As you see it, you start to see it from further and further away. I call it a BS meter. We have the cure for the sickness. The greatest sickness ever known to mankind is the heart sickness, is the little liar sickness. And the cure is truth, capital T, truth, and sunlight. Sunlight spelled S-O-N dash capital L-I-G-H-T. Sunlight. Very disinfecting. We must end the war against God in our schools. See the patterns? They started in around the 50s, although they were planned 50 years before that, in order to make us be able to get attacked from within. They had to do it in our schools and in our public places. So you cut down on that. We must end this war against God in our schools, in our governments, our movies, our foods, our genetics, our water, our bodies, our earth, our music, our science, our families. They're attacking all these things. You must see the patterns. That's how we grow onwards and upwards. Our children. Oh, did I mention we are ending the war against our precious little gifts from God? Our children? Yeah, you can't keep doing that, you evil liars. It is action time. Bitching goes only so far. It's time for doing. What are we doing to move towards the realm we claim we wish to see? The goodly, godly people that we want to see, in our world. Do you see the growing patterns? Do you see the great expanding, strengthening pattern of freedom? Yay, freedom! So these patterns, these goodly, godly patterns, are winning. They're overcoming. They're banishing the evil patterns that were getting stacked up against us very severely. But we are ending them. Patterns. So you see the patterns. So the patterns from nature, the more time you spend in nature, the more you're going to observe what I call the God flow. And this God flow's been there since the garden, folks, since Adam named all the animals, since Adam organized where everything should go. And Adam and Eve wandered through the garden with the creator of all things, their heavenly papa, our heavenly papa. Patterns, patterns. So you can see the patterns and patterns within the patterns. And you can see that it flows, that it's interconnected, that we have a commonality because of the patterns that God puts out there for us to see. The Celts, see the patterns? I'm doing it backwards, so it's really hard to do. Okay. See the patterns in the Book of Kells. Look up the Book of Kells. Go search that. It's beautiful, illuminated manuscript from the Dark Ages. And somehow managed to get protected from the Viking raiders in Ireland and some islands off the coast of Ireland and Scotland where they had monasteries. It was hidden away for quite a long time before it was rediscovered. Now it's in Dublin, I think in a university, and every so often it's under a case, but they'll come and change the page over so you can see all the fantastic art. Hang on, I'll show you some of it. When the monks mixed up their inks for the Book of Kells, they used crushed gemstones and they gilded some of the pages, and they had gold ink, and they also had gold like filigree or flakes that they decorated. See the gold around the trim here. And this is all hand painted, hand drawn. It's quite incredible. The Book of Kells. This is just a little like coffee table book that tells a little bit about how they made it. There's different, it's a Bible, but it's a illuminated Bible. And these different pages were on the different Gospels. So you'd have this probably, there's another one. And there's some amazing animals and stuff. And here's one with the animals, right as I was talking about it. See? And these are based on what John saw in his Revelation visions. Based on that. So yeah, it's pretty cool. Go check that out. The Book of Kells. Anything else that really grabs me here? There's one with the baby Jesus with Mary. It's beautiful. Oh, that's the cover. See? That's Mother Mary with the baby Jesus. Now come on, cut him some slack. Remember, it's all hand drawn. Even let's see if I can find one, and then we'll move on. This was actually they put this one on a postage stamp from Ireland. I have it. I'm not going to dig that out right now, though. Here's some red ink. That's probably because Jesus was talking. That's my guess. See, there's some black and there's some red ink. Imagine that. It's all handwritten on vellum, which is calf's skin. That was more permanent, and paper wasn't as smooth and clean as it was more lumpy back then. So vellum was one of the better materials. And every 100 years or so, they would have to hand rewrite the Bibles. I don't know about this one. This one's pretty amazing. But yeah, there are quite a few pages that are all faded away now. So anyway, that's the Book of Kells, and you can check that out on the internet. You just search for pictures from the Book of Kells. There's tons of stuff out there with that. Okay, let me read my patterns poem. Like I said, I wrote this. Oh, and if you're enjoying this and you want to support more of this information getting out there for folks, don't forget to click on the thumbs up or the rumble or the like button. Look for Hiking Druid on YouTube, Rumble, BitChute, HugeTube, Telegram. Also have a page on Telegram that I share a lot of information that I find that's called Hiking Druid Explores, like explore out into the wilderness. So that's the Telegram group, Hiking Druid Explores. Go join that if you would, please, and get a lot of information out there. Also, I'm going to have a link down below this video where you can get signed up for my free newsletter, get more information about patterns in the wilderness, herbs, your immune system, all kinds of powerful energy increasing ideas, and and also that same link will get you a free guide about a couple of herbs that I either grow or forage out in the wilderness. So if you do that, that would help me out a lot, and I appreciate it, and thank you very much. Now, how about that poem? The patterns. As I ponder of the pattern, and I follow the flowing fields. The changes are many, though changes subtle. The ripples of time, the ripples of streams, from the corner of my eye or the deep part of my mind, a split second fluctuates, a sudden departation, then reality returns, slamming my mind, cementing my time. So a great solid tree passes its life onward through the spinning, whirling maple seed, or the tinier still mustard. How we begin to push up and out as soon as the life spark ignites. Whether zygote or acorn, we burst outward excitedly, only waiting for the proper set of circumstances for the cells to explode with their suddenness of purpose. What a wonder! With what vigor! Life returns over and over. Sometimes it's closely replayed. Sometimes it changes completely. Yes, life will do what it must to survive and then thrive. Sometimes replacing others. Sometimes hosting different species. Sometimes dying out. Nevertheless, these are patterns within patterns. The earth is heating. The earth is cooling. Mountains are pushing up while winds are tearing them down. millions and millions of years pass by. Stars form, stars wink out. All of us are made of space stuff, billions of years old. Though we've only been a species for the slightest fraction of that time, and of that tiniest of eye blinks, our life isn't but a single wink. Yet we dream and grow and share and doubt and laugh and create and love and pray and hate and cry and steal and sing and dance. And try to teach these things to our children and each other and all of that in that little wink of time. We take that tiny wink of time and proceed to stretch it out. We nurture it. Sometimes we waste it. Yet, even when wasting it, we put order to it. Is this why we say God made us in His image? Not because we look like Him so much, but that we are aware like Him. Some of us have memories of past times, glimpses of a time stream not currently ours, a hint of music, a remembered scene played over and over, so we think of our life as one among many. Others never see this and doubt it, naturally. Perhaps this is their first visit as a self-conscious being. They say they don't see any evidence of reincarnation. I watch the patterns and say I can't see anything else. First there is a mountain, then there is no mountain, then there is. Just know what a precious gift this journey, this ripple, this life, and this life is, and it really won't make a difference if you see every pattern, as long as you learn and grow during this one. Give thanks to God and the Spirit and the light and the love. Just be grateful and help others when you can, because it's all part of the same. Patterns flow around me, some over, some under, some through. Love will banish hatred, for God is light, is me, is you. Patterns. A.D. Boynton. That's my pen name. 11/20/2007. The Patterns. So I hope you enjoyed the talk. I hope you enjoyed the poem. I hope you start noticing more patterns. I'm sure a lot of you already do. What are some of your favorite patterns that you've seen? How early do you remember noticing that these patterns have meaning and beauty? Where do you like to go to see the patterns? I love the patterns. I love the leaves falling in the fall. I love in the autumn, and I love the waterfall. The water makes patterns. Streams, likewise, waves on the beach. They leave patterns in the sand. Animals leave patterns. People make patterns. Energy makes patterns. Sometimes you can't see it. Sometimes some people can see patterns that other people can't see. Isn't that fascinating? That's how different we all are. And yet we're all made of God stuff, sparks of the universe, of God, of the star stuff. Carbon is star stuff. Whether God put it all here for us, or we picked it up flowing through meteors and that sort of stuff, it's still star stuff. It's still God stuff. The patterns. Yeah, that's, you can see I get pretty excited about that stuff. So I appreciate you watching this. I love you. You're the apple of Papa's eye. Our heavenly Papa loves you, the creator of all things, the King of Kings, the Alpha and Omega. He who is, he is what he is. He is that he is. And he lives inside you, and he lives inside me. So get deepening your discernment and deepening your relationship with God. Give him thanks, because he is up there in his throne room, but his throne room is also here. Thanks to Jesus, who came and released the Holy Spirit for all of us. Free will. You can turn your back on it, but I don't advise that, because God loves you. He'll love you even if you're stupid and turn your back on him. He'll still love you, and he'll keep drawing you back. It's called your heart strings. Think about that. That's a pattern. Your heartstrings. Why is it called your heartstrings? Because God's pulling on it to get you back. All right. Thanks. Go give your kids a hug. Tell them how much you love them. Yes, even the stinky teenagers. Do it. Do it. I find teenagers, I call them stinky teenagers lovingly, because they either stink because they're at the early teenager where they don't bathe much, or shower much, or they've discovered stinkums and they put on so much that, it's like eating raw onions. For goodness sake. Hey, they're learning though. I love them. I just say stinky teenagers. It's funny. And I wouldn't call them that. I just talk about them that way. It's just a joke. You know what? Life is short. It's also very exciting. And you need to laugh. Okay? You really do. It's healing. It's so good. So I love you, and I'll talk to you soon. Talk to you next time. Bye. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.